everyone, thank you for joining me today. My name is Susan Timchak and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returner, thank you for coming back and checking out what I have to share with you today. I had a request the other day. Actually, it was really funny. I had to chuckle to myself. I had a request regarding the fine tip glue pen. And hi, Nancy, this is for you. You brought this upon everyone, so I thought it was a great time that I had to share with you just some tips and techniques of the fine tip glue pen. You can find the Stampin' Up! Fine Tip glue pen. It is in our current catalog, and you can find it on page 182. It's on the adhesive page, and it's right up here in the little corner. Now, with the Stampin' Up! Catalogs, when you're going through them, and if you see this little emblem here, it looks like a little strip, camera strip with a little arrow on it. There's one here for the fast fuse as well. What that means is there's actually a video that Stampin' Up! Has created for us and for you. It's on the Stampin' Up! YouTube channel. So you just go to YouTube, and put in Stampin' Up! And up will come a ton of different videos, all of the ones that have these little camera icons with a quick video. So being I like to do videos, and maybe I'll go over things that Stampin' Up! Doesn't, or vice versa. And there's our Dory. Yes, she is back. Looking for a spot, which I have filled with stuff right now. And I found out she likes coffee. So hopefully she doesn't take a little drink of my coffee here. Anyhow, back to what we're talking about. You can check out those little icons by clicking on them. They used to be linked with your phone if you had one of those apps that open up the links on your phone. Thank you. But check that out. But, I'm going to share something with you as well. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. All right, Dory. You're going to have to scoochie over a little bit because, everyone loves to see you, but they're here to learn a little bit too. So we'll have a little bit of both. Okay, so this is how your fine tip glue pen comes when you open it up. Of course, it's like this. So this one doesn't have too much left in it, so I thought I would start fresh with you. So there is an instruction sheet, a little tip kind of paper inside your little bag here, so that's always helpful. So when you open it up, this white top unscrews, and right here you'll see a actual fine tip, which is why it's called the fine tip glue pen. Now when you go to first use it and you're squeezing, you're wondering, oh my goodness, it must be dried up, it's not working. No, that's not the case. Unscrew this top, and there's a little protective piece of whatever you want to call that. Okay, so we're going to throw that away. Now we can get started with it. Okay, so there we go. All right, so this fine tip glue pen is super great to use when you have small, fine areas. Okay, so let's take a look at how it's used. Now, when I use it, I do like to use the silicone mat. And this is by Stampin' Up! As well. You can see it's very well loved. I'm going to turn it over because I do need to clean it. And with the silicone mat, nothing's going to stick to it. One of the things that is one of my pet peeves is when I'm working on my surface and I'm gluing something down and it sticks to the surface underneath. Well, if you use this little mat, it'll not stick to the mat. And any of the overflow of the glue, of course, is going to go on the mat and then it'll clean up real easy for you. Okay, so that's a little sidekick there. So this is one of the hearts that I had cut out. I'm going to show you a card that I created with it. And I used the Love Notes framelit dies. It cuts out this real pretty intricate heart. So to glue this down on something, you're going to see the glue because it has all these little lines and see-through areas. And this is where the fine tip glue pen comes in. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to lightly squeeze it. And you'll see, I'm just putting little dots. You don't want to use a lot. Going around and kind of here and there. It's, you don't have to put 10 ton on. You just want a little bit of adhesive And then you can go ahead and glue that right onto your square. So see how easy that is? You can never do that with a tape runner or even our Tombow mono adhesive because it'll just get everywhere. But this, it makes it perfect. You set that aside and it will dry. Let me show you a card that I did using it. Here's a real pretty Valentine card. And I used all the components from the Sending Love Suite. I actually used the bundle, which the bundle is the stamp set. Oops, you're getting a little bit more than you probably wanted from the fine tip glue pen. But I'm just want to share this with you in case you're like, oh, I love that card, I want to make it. Okay, real simple. Real red and Whisper white cardstock and a little bit of our gold paper. And I used this stamp set. You could purchase it as a bundle. And here's the framelits. It's called the Seal with Love bundle. And it's a photopolymer stamp set. And you save 10% when you do buy the bundle. But that's what I use to adhere all these little hearts and these little arrows. So it made it super, super quick. So what else can you do with this? Well, you know, us as demonstrators, we're always finding other ways to create with it. So if you all remember yesterday, I shared with you actually 2 videos. One was cutting up your DSP and cut it, use it. That's, you know, make that a hashtag, cut it, use it. And so I cut up some of the free designer series paper that you can get during celebration. And I colored it using watercolor pencils, and I also shared with you how to use the aqua painter. So this was the actual image. You know, it kind of started like this, and then used that. I shared that with you. Well, I made it into a card, added a cute little ribbon on there, and that's how that turned out. I didn't want to put a saying on it because I just didn't, one, I didn't know where to put the saying, and 2, I didn't want to kind of, you know, ruin it. But back to the glue tip, the fine tip glue pen. I want to add a little bit of dimension to the bee, to the wings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fine tip glue pen and I'm going to gently squeeze out. Now you want to make sure when you use this that you don't shake the bottle too much. You don't have to mix it up or anything, because what will happen is you'll get little bubbles in there. So can you just see that? I don't want to tip it because it is watery. You know, that will dry. Let me share with you. This is another card that I did yesterday. I actually used the aqua painter with this, with our inks. Just squeezed the ink pad lid, made a little well of ink in there, and the aqua painter, and I colored this same paper. This is part of that paper pack. Colored this in that way. So you can see the difference that the different ways to color in. But what I did is I used the 2-way glue pen on the dragonfly wings. And can you see that dries to like a hard acrylic? Now you do want to be careful. Like I said, when I was going to move it, I kind of tipped it, a little bit ran here. But I kind of went when it was still wet and kind of, you know, dried that up a little bit. But that'll show you how you can use it that way as well. You can also, when it's wet, sprinkle in a little bit of our Dazzling Diamonds glitter. And that will stick in there as well, and you'll get that kind of dimension to it. So this little bee wing is going to dry hard, just like if you remember, if you've been with Stampin' Up! For a little bit, we used to have the crystal effects. Remember that? It's the same kind of thing. Now, if I really want to add some little dimension, let me bring this up to show you. I just had a little bubble there. You can go along, you know, these lines, certain lines in the flower. And you could kind of color them in. And I mean, I'm just doing this haphazard. You know, it kind of adds a little bit dimension without, you know, really doing too much with it. If you wanted to do that, I mean, it's totally up to you what you want to do. Maybe a little bit in the center, you know, to bring a little added addition to that. And when that dries, that'll be hard as well. But it kind of adds just a little texture to your card. All right, so now we're all done. You do want to make sure that when you are done using the glue tip that you cap it, because it will dry in there. So here was, let me move this aside so you can see. this was the question actually that created this whole video for you. Was Nancy was like, she spent, well, I don't know how long it was that she said it took her to cap it, because the tip of the cap has a little fine pin in it. And when you go to cap this, what prevents this from clogging and sticking and everything and making a total mess? So if you remember the crystal effects, you'll remember what happened with those. This little pin goes in top of here. So, I mean, well, I'm 55 and my eyes just, yeah, not working as well as they used to. So here's a little tip for you. This was taught to us by Stampin' Up. Take your finger, okay, put your finger here near the tip, and then take your cap. And being that your finger is there, that helps you to glide that right in there. So see how simple that was? So Nancy, give that a try. I hope that helps you. Now, one more final thing. I don't actually have a demonstration to share with you, but I'll tell you something fun that I had just come across online the other day. When your two-way glue is kind of coming toward the end, you have a little bit in there, you can unscrew your cap and use our re-inkers. Let me just reach behind me here. I'll get you one. Use one of these are re-ink bottles, and these are actually used on our ink pads when your ink pads are starting to get dry. You can take that, take your top off, put a couple drops in here, swish it around, put your cap back on first, swish it around, and well, these never go back on. Let me put that aside. I have issues with my hands, so swish it around anyhow. And if you were to take this image, you can actually take your two-way glue pen with the color in it and actually color onto certain images to add color right directly from the bottle. So not only will you be making it dimensionalized like we did on this card, you'll also have color to it as well. Now, you know, unfortunately, once you add the color to it, it will remain that color. So you can go ahead and just buy a bottle of two-way glue pen for every single color. Or, you know, if there's a certain project you're doing and you're doing a lot of them, you know, you might want to go this route. Or, you know, when you're coming down the end, and I don't know why I can't get this back on. But you know me, I like to finish things when I start them. There we go. So you can just devote this to that certain color. You know, mark on here what color it was. Like maybe you're a real red fan, you like to use a lot of real red. And, you know, save it that way. So those are a couple tips. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you learned something. I'll put these cards here for you to see. And if you have any questions on it, Dory, she's like a bull in a china shop here. If you have any questions on it, feel free to send me an email. Oh, and she's even knocking that down too. Oh boy. Send me an email. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click on that little bell so you don't miss out on any other upcoming videos that I have for you. So, from Dory and myself, we wish you a super Stampin' Day and some glimmer hugs. And we'll see you all again real soon. Say bye, Dory. Bye. All right, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.